This is the aim controller for the PS5. So the AIM Pro controller for the PS5 is, in my opinion, one of the best controllers you can get on the market. But how is it in the long term? I have been using this controller for pretty much a couple of years at this point. I've got it at the pretty much release of the PS5. I wanted a controller with back pedals that I could use for games like Warzone, for example. So for shooters and other games, I wanted something that would be as good as possible, but still have the PS5 functionality. So this is my personal custom-made PS5 controller. And just so you know, this video is not sponsored, but they did actually make some adjustments to my controller to be able to showcase a little bit more of what this has to offer. So they did add a little bit of customizable things to this controller so that while it still looks exactly the way it was, I can show you a little bit more features of it. But like I said, it's not a sponsor review, it's my personal opinion of this controller and my thoughts of it after using it for a couple of years at this point. So the first thing you're going to notice is the design of it. On the AIM controller side, you can actually really customize the way it looks like. I went for something that looks a little bit, I would say, like a Spider-Man with its web design and overall black, red, and white design. I would say it really does look like the PS5 Spider-Man controller. Well, that wasn't really the aim I was going for. I would have to say it looks that way, and I really like the way it turned out. So from customizable options, it looks amazing. But also on the back, I did customize it with the grip on the back. Essentially, you have the grip on the back. If you like that kind of stuff, you can have an option without it. I did take it with the Pro grip, and in my opinion, it is a really nice grip. It's not over the whole controller, just the back where you're holding it. So in my opinion, it's a nice mix because on the front you have the more, sleek design, but on the back you have the grip elements. But before we go into the gameplay and how it performs in game, from the design itself, there's actually a couple more things that you can do at this moment. So if you're interested, you can actually get a little bit of a different feel. If maybe you want the different things to be different, maybe you are not sure if you want just this controller in terms of look, well, you can still have this same controller, but change the looks of it. They did add a new thing, which is the snap panels. Essentially, they're on the magnets, and you can just take it off and put a different one. For example, I have this red one, is a little bit different, but it now has a different design. So if you can see, this was the pattern that I had, and this is a little bit different with like a joker on it. You can also take the touch panel on top and replace it with a different design. Essentially, thanks to this, you can really modulate your controller, get a different whole design. In my opinion, it's still the red and the black, but maybe you want it to have a blue and black, or just blue, white, whatever you want. You can get a different snap panel for your controller. So essentially, if you're, after some time you want to refresh your controller a bit, you can just change the different elements of your controller. That is not the end of the customizable options on this controller. So first off, you can actually change the thumbsticks, not only the colors, so you can just take it off, and as you can see, it's a thumbstick, but also you can change the height of it. So you can have a short thumbstick, a medium, or a long one. Depending on how you want to play, you can have a different thumbstick. All you have to do is just press it on, and it's on like this. You can have one bigger, one smaller. It's all customizable for you to choose from. So you can even have a different style of a thumbstick on this controller. Another feature for me that was just a must-have on this controller is the back pedals. In my opinion, this was the most important part of this controller. So these are remappable buttons. Essentially, I have all the front-facing buttons set to the 4 buttons on the back. The pedals are essentially the ones on the front. Thanks to this, I can game without having to put my finger from the aiming to the different controls and then back to aiming when I want to do, for example, like a jump between the shooting. Thanks to this, I can use the back pedals here while I still have my thumb on the aiming. Thanks to this, it's just much more better for shooting games, or those games where, for example, like Call of Duty, where you have different styles of movement while shooting, and you want to have both at the same time. Thanks to this, you can really take advantage of the controller. So this is a really nice way to play. I really love the controllers, and they are a bit on the louder side, I would say. They're like tactile and clicky, kind of like a mouse button, but if you like that kind of stuff, it's gonna be nice. So they are a little bit like a spider, pedals going a little bit off the controller. So if you hold it, you have one on under each finger. They're really nice, really tactile and clicky, but it's gonna be personal preference if you like the way they're here. I usually actually touch them a little bit lower on my finger, but it's no problem for me. It feels really good to use. Overall, they are probably my favorite back pedals on a Pro controller for the ones that I've tested and the ones that I used. Mostly because they're really accurate and I can feel confident when clicking that I'm not double clicking, I'm not misclicking. They're really accurate. So I really like them, and you can really feel that feedback if you clicked it or not. Even if you have headphones and you don't hear the sound itself, you're still gonna feel if you actually did press on it. And last but not least, there's one more key feature of this controller that it has over the stock controller. Because this actually does have everything the stock controller has. You can use it wirelessly, you can use it wired, you have all the analogs and, you know, trigger effects that you would have on the normal controller. You have the microphone on it like normally, but there is one more key feature that we have on the AIM controller. As you can see, you can have the traditional triggers. So you have the full press, and then on the other side the same thing. But as you can see, there's two different switches on here. Essentially, if you switch it, now this trigger becomes pretty much like a digital trigger. Essentially, this is the same thing as you'd use a mouse. So it's much shorter and instant. And this is actually like pretty much identical to a mouse click. This is like a mouse click, and now you can actually have a mouse click or a full trigger with the full effect. If you have it as a mouse click, you no longer have the effect of the rumble and the trigger effects, but thanks to this you have these short triggers like a mouse buttons for shooting. At first I wasn't used to it, but once you get used to it, it does feel much better. It just feels a little bit, it kind of feels like you're faster in a way. If it's actually the truth, it's gonna be something you have to decide for yourself, but for me, I personally did change to it, and now I have not been using it normally. I've been using it as the 2 clicks all the times. I just use it at all times. So for a Pro controller, it's gonna be hard to beat this. I feel like this is probably the best Pro controller you can get for the PS5. It just has the best options, best customization, and overall not only the looks of it, that is gonna be something that everybody has different opinions, and you can do your own and just have it styled the way you want it to. Well, just performance-wise, this is probably the best PS5 controller you can get on the market. But it is a little bit costly. So depending on your budget, this could be a lot. But also if you're looking at Pro controllers, this is a really amazing option. So I can highly recommend you the AIM controller for the PS5. If you have any more questions about this controller, let me know in the comment section down below. With that being said, that is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.